Hello everyone. In today's video, we will continue working with fractions, doing our review. In this exercise, we will be filling in the blanks to make sure that the additions and subtractions are true. So we basically have to think, okay, what number has to go where in order for this to make sense? Right? So let's get started immediately. I want you to try and do them on your own. So get a notebook and try, give it a shot. It's worth it. In this exercise, we need to put them in the correct order. So here, additions and subtractions fill in the blank. Here, we need to put these fractions in order. Here, we need to fill in the blanks to make the fractions equivalent. And here, we do the fraction of a number, but this time in reverse, where we know the result, but not the number that we're looking for the fraction of. I'll leave that out. Yeah, it's going to take all these rectangles out. Okay, so 3/8 plus what gives me 7/8? Well, I know that the denominator is going to have to be 8 in order for me to be able to do the fraction, the addition. And then the numerator, we have to think 3 plus what makes 7? 3 plus 4 makes 7. That's all there is to that, really. Next, we think 5/6 plus what makes 7/6? Well, it'll definitely be sixths, so that's what's on the bottom. And then on the top, we think 5 plus what makes 7? 5 plus 2 makes 7. So 5/6 plus 2/6 makes 7/6. Next, here. Here, the missing number is in front, but that doesn't really change anything, especially in addition. So what plus 2/7 makes 5/7? It's definitely going to be sevenths. That much. So then we have to think, what plus 2 makes 5? Oh, I gave it away. 3 plus 2 makes 5. So this should be 3/7. Next, 8/9 minus what makes 1/9? Well, I have to think 8 minus 1. On the bottom, it's going to be ninths, definitely. 9. Then on top, I have to think 8 minus what makes 1? 8 minus 7 makes 1. So to fill in the blank, 7/9. Next up, 6/5 minus what makes 3/5? It's going to be fifths, certainly. And then 6 minus what makes 3? 6 minus 3 makes 3. Lastly, here we have a subtraction. Something minus 1/4 gives us 2/4. So it's going to be fourths. And then we have to think, what minus 1? What number do I subtract 1 from to get 2? The answer is 3. 3/4 minus 1/4 makes 2/4. Next up, we need to put these fractions in the correct order. So this might seem a little difficult. When we've done exercises like this in the past, you have all had a bit of a hard time. So that's why we're doing it again. The logic behind this exercise is to try and create a chain of comparison. So immediately we can see these two stick out because they have 2-digit denominators, right? This one does too, but it's a bit different. So this one is 7/10, this one is 3/10. 7/10 is more than 3/10, so I'm going to put the bigger fractions to the right. So 7/10 is more than 3/10. Great. Now we can use this to compare with the other fractions. So for example, 3/13, right? 3/13 I can compare with 3/10 because they have a common numerator. And if you remember correctly, when two fractions have the same number on top, the greater fraction is the one with the smaller number on the bottom. So that means that 3/13 is smaller than 3/10. But since 7/10 is greater than 3/10 and 3/10 is greater than 3/13, that means that 7/10 is also greater than 3/13. So we just put them in order a little bit, right? Yeah. So next we can compare 7/9 to 7/10. And because the same number is on top again, like before, the greater fraction is the one with the smaller number on the bottom. So 7/9 is greater than 7/10, which makes it greater than all the other fractions we've listed until now. The next one I can compare this with is 8/9 because they have a common denominator. So when the same number is on the bottom, the greater fraction is the one with the greater number on top. The next one I can compare it with is 8/7 because they have a common numerator. And now the same number is on top. So the greater fraction is the one with the smallest number on the bottom, that would be 7. So this one is greater than all the other previous fractions. Next, I'm going to bring in 9/7 because it has a common denominator with the last fraction we compared. And because 9 is greater than 8, 9/7 is greater than 8/7. Lastly, we bring in this fraction, compare it to 9/5 because they have the same numerator. And when the numerators are the same, the greater fraction is the one with a smaller number on the bottom. So in this case, 9/5. So this is the correct order for these fractions from smallest to greatest. Next, let's fill in the gaps. 7 times what makes 35? 7 times 5 makes 35. So here we need to do 4 times 5. And we get 20. Next up, 9 times what makes 63? 9 times 7 makes 63. So here we also need to multiply with 7. Seven times 7 makes 49. Six times what makes 36? 6 times 6 makes 36. And then I multiply something with 6, and I get 12. What do I multiply with 6 and get 12? I multiply 2 with 6 and get 12. Next, 3 times what makes 27? 3 times 9 makes 27. So what times 9 makes 54? The answer to that is 6 times 9 makes 54. And so we filled in the blanks. Next up, we have a number here. We don't know what it is. Well, we do know. Let's put a question mark there, actually, to show that we don't know what these numbers are. What I do know about them is that I take these numbers, I divide them by 8, whatever they are. And whatever I find, I multiply it by 3, and what I get in the end is 24. Now, you might think, what do I have to multiply by 3 to get 24? And the answer is 8. 8 times 3 makes 24. So now we have to think, well, what number divided by 8 makes 8? The answer is 64 divided by 8 makes 8. 64 divided by 8 makes 8 times 3 makes 24. And then we repeat this process for the others. So we say the number needs to be divided by 10 and then multiplied by the numerator, so 9, and then we get 63, right? Well, what times 9 makes 63? And the answer is 7 times 9 makes 63. So this needs to, the result of this division needs to be 7. Well, what number divided by 10 makes 7? The answer is 70 divided by 10 makes 7. So this number here needs to be 70. And I forgot to actually. Here it needed to be 64. Lastly, 4/7 of what number make 28? So I take the number, whatever it is, divide it by 7, and then whatever I find, I multiply by 4. So what number multiplied by 4 give me 28? The answer is 7 times 4 gives us 28. So the result of this division needs to be 7. Well, what number divided by 7 makes 7? The answer is 49 divided by 7 makes 7. 49 divided by 7 is going to make 7, and times 4 is going to make 28. So here, this number needs to be 49. That will be all for today. I will see you guys again on Friday's video. Have a good day.